Hello everybody. So I kind of just felt like saying something today. I kind of just feel drawn to putting something out there, and it's with regards to my journey of awakening. And I don't know, today I just feel a little bit compelled to share a little bit of my journey. And so this particular journey started just a little over a year ago when I went for an awakening session. And it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I got to see my true self. I got to see reality as it really is. And I just got to release and shed all of my stories, all of my problems and issues and challenges and concerns. And in that moment, for as long as it lasted, I just let it all go. And it just felt incredible. There was no more stress, no more anxieties, just freedom from everything, from the me who I thought I was and who I'd been trying so hard to be for so many years, and I could just let it all go. And in that session with the guidance of the teacher, the mentor, the person who took me through it, I was really guided to a beautiful place of calm and peace, and it just happened so quickly and so easily. And you know, I've heard this story so many times from other people, and they've had the same experience. And it's just such a beautiful experience. And it led me on a path, a new journey, a new way of being. And so after the session, I went home and I stayed in it. And I was in it for days, if not weeks. It might even have been close to a month that I was just staying in this beautiful place and seeing the stories that I'd been living. And it was a really amazing time. And then I started seeing my ego, my mind trying to take control again over and over, and all the stories that I had let go of in the awakening experience started to try and hook me back in. And they tried to make me identify with them and tried to make me live as them. And the mind is very sneaky. The ego is a trickster. So it definitely comes in and it wants to hook you back in. That's all it wants to do, is hook you back in and keep itself alive and keep itself relevant. And I fell for it. Very much so. For a long time I kept buying into the stories again and buying into the emotions and everything that I'd shared in that experience, that I'd released in that experience, were all coming back and hooking themselves in. And I started to notice how it's really not nice being there. It's not nice being being so involved in the stories in my mind and the emotions that are attached to those stories, and perpetuate the stories and increase the charge around those stories. And I was so solidly sold on them again, and so miserable in it. It was not a nice time, just because I had allowed myself to reattach, to re-identify with the old patterns, the old programs, the old conditioning, the old stuff that was keeping me so hooked into an old way of living. And it was miserable. And then again, I would find my way back to the awake space, and just find that life is so beautiful, and everything is just so bright. The way that it is just so perfect, and there's nothing for me to do to try and change it. You know, things weren't always the way that I wanted them to be, and I being ego. And you know, I wanted more clients, I wanted a relationship, I wanted so many things that my ego was telling me I didn't have, or couldn't have, or didn't deserve, or wasn't worthy of. All stories that we live with our whole lives. And being the sucker that I was at that time, I bought into it, and it's okay. That's the journey. That was where I was at that time, and that's perfectly okay, because it allowed me the opportunity to find my way back to awake, to find my way back to being present and feeling free and liberated again. And the contrasts just became so much bigger. And when I was re-identified with the ego, with the mind, with the emotions, with the stories, I wasn't happy. I wasn't calm. I wasn't free. I wasn't at peace. And as soon as I started to let go and just be, I found myself back to the awake space, back to the real me that I want to bring to the world, and the real world that I want to experience, not the stories of the world that I had been carrying for so long. I wanted a new experience. And now every moment where I am at this point, every moment allows for a new experience. Because I'm at a point where I'm not trying to control everything. I realize that not everything is within my control. There is, in fact, very, very little, which is actually within my control. Me, again, being the ego me. The ego me can't control anything. It can try as much as it wants to, but there's very little it can actually do. So being open and being curious about what can happen next allows whatever is coming next to come, to be experienced. And I realize, I've experienced that I'm not the creator of the experience. I'm not the experiencer of the experience. I am the experience. I am an experiencing, a process of experiencing. And at this point in time, up till now, there hasn't been a more beautiful experience that I've had. So I'm not entirely sure why, but I just wanted to share those thoughts, this experience. And so that's it for now. And I wish you well. And I wish you freedom.